Happy Friday afternoon, folks.
Friday afternoon. We made it.
Ari Rastegar. Did I get that right? We got this? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Welcome, buddy. I love your story because I think there's versions of it that like land with a bunch of people that listen to the show. And, you know, Tom and I's differences. He's an acupuncturist. I'm a biohacking geek. So the joke was Tom throws needles and herbs at stuff, and I throw gadgets and code.
Look, man.
You know?
My center was one of the first in Maryland to offer whole body cryotherapy. So you know, we're not too far behind there. And we did have a hyperbaric for a while. We swapped that out for EWAT, but yeah, I mean, we're still in that space quite a bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's use that as an entry point, right? Like, so what got you into all this stuff? Because listen, what you're up to is let's be candid, it's not normal behavior, right? Okay, you know,
there are no one would consider this normal.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm doing a lot of this shit as well, so that I'm not excluding myself. But I mean, listen, what you're doing is not fucking down the middle. You know what I'm saying?
There's a punk song that says sanity is not a trait of extraordinary men. Yeah. And I fucking love that.
Yeah. That's funny.
There's gonna be, you know, look, anytime you're doing anything of or aspiring for anything of notoriety or greatness as a parent, as a achiever, as a bodybuilder, you know, there's gotta be a little hint of madness.
Yeah.
Or else it's not possible. You can't get through the dark nights of the soul. You know, unless there's a way to get through it that pulls you through that darkness. You know, for me, I in my life, desperation has always been a much better motivator than inspiration. You know, inspiration, you know, has a way of fleeting. And, you know, Jim Rohn used to say motivation is like bathing. We recommend it daily. and the thing with desperation is it's so much stickier, and it's something that just really permeates you to where there's a reason why, you know, desperation or need is the mother of all invention, because you're backed into a corner. You know,
Sure.
You're backed into a corner, and fear becomes this thing where your senses are heightened. You know, you're wildly present in the moment, and then you go out and you get it fucking done or you perish. And that's really, you know, that's really all there is to it. And for me on the health journey, it was no different. I was, you know, in the middle of my, you know, second, you know, very big business, and I wasn't sleeping for days. Doctors were telling me I had every ailment under the sun, giving me a pill to wake up, to go to sleep, to whatever. I was eating like shit, you know, abusing my body, my mind, you know, and had these super dark circles under my eyes. I was 30 pounds lighter, you know, that I was, and that I am now. Come to find out, my testosterone was like 140. You know, just a place of shit. And by the way, I was super fortunate because one of my early clients is a spinal neurosurgeon. Okay. His name is Dr. Jacob Rosenstein. I don't use this word lightly. He's a fucking genius, and he's one of my best friends in the world. So his mother was a Holocaust survivor. He put himself in Johns Hopkins undergrad and medical school. He's the
right in our backyard.
Yeah, it's literally down the street from our house.
Bro,
yeah.
You need to read his book called Defy Aging. I wrote the introduction to it. And in the process of talking about business early on, I managed money for public pension plans, insurance companies, you know, hundreds and hundreds of high net worth folks. Anyways, I met him through his advisor. We sat down, talked through what we could do in real estate together. And I've invested in 38 cities, 13 states. You know, we have billions of dollars under production, whatever. But at the time, I was starting this particular business. I'd worked for other people for a long time. And, you know, he looked at all of our stuff. His advisor looked at all our stuff. Super smart guys. I was like, yeah, look, I'm in. Like, let's do this. And then he kind of looked at me with this kind of, you know, head to the side and was like, do you feel okay? And he's such an empathetic, high energy guy. He's in his 70s, looks like he's 40s, a fucking stud. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, do you feel okay? And literally it caught me off guard. Like, it was such an empathetic statement. And I go, no, actually, I don't. He's like, yeah, you're working, whatever. He's like, he goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do all this stuff. Like, I believe in, you'll figure this out. Your lawyer seem like, not the dumbest guy. But I want to see your blood. And I go, you want to see my blood? It sounds like a fucking vampire movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I went in there for this battery of tests, took my blood, did food sensitivity tests, DEXA body scans, food sensitivity tests, freaking, you name it, hormone levels, blah, 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 and came back. And, a few weeks later, we looked at it. He's like, it's a fucking disaster. Your testosterone is shit, your cholesterol's up, your inflammation is off. You have early onset osteopenia. I didn't even know what the hell that was.
Wow.
My hair was falling out. Dude, I've grown back probably 400% of the hair that I had at that point. I've actually become a full-on werewolf, by the way.
That's so funny.
Anyway, so we go through this stuff, and he starts prescribing me pharmaceutical grade vitamins that are custom made for me, that designed just for me, hormone replacement. And boy, after 2 or 3 months, I started feeling so much better. I couldn't even explain to you what started to happen, like in terms of my mind, all these ailments that I thought I had. You need to take Xanax because you have anxiety. Once my nutraceutical levels started to come, my testosterone levels went up, anxiety was gone. Like all these things that were supposed to be emotional problems ended up being physiological problems. And in classic Ari style, I started just go down the rabbit hole into everything under the sun, infrared light, biomodulators, biocharger, you name it. But that beginning piece of getting that together with Dr. Rosenstein and his program was the beginning of this journey. That at 43 years old, I can tell you, I have never felt better in my entire life without hyperbole. I have more energy, more clarity, more empathy, and I can't be more grateful for how much of an improvement that's happened. So I can tell anybody that no matter where you are in this journey, if you take this path, and he didn't start till he was in his late 50s of turning it around, but the body has a miraculous way of resilience that if you give it the right inputs, it can turn this thing around very, very, very quickly.
Oh, I think, and that's the part that I think most people don't really understand, because I do, as you might expect, I do all these weird experiments on myself, and like you're always like, I'm always
one
tinkering.
is a thing we're throwing around quite a bit.
I always fucking with myself in some way, and like most of them, if not all of them, I mean, days to weeks, and you have a measurable change, right? Like it's not like months to years, right? We're not, although I am curious about your hair, I don't really have a hair situation, but I love those things, because now I say, you know what gets people's attention when they have, like you said, desperation is more powerful than inspiration. You know what? Some dude who's balding right now is like, wait a minute, I have all those fucking things.
Look,
like,
man,
those things are all happening.
I feel like I represent this comment. It's funny. So, there's an herb they called, it translates to black-haired Mr. Wu, right? Sorry. And it's associated with hair growth, but that's not how we use it in Chinese medicine. Every once in a while, I get a phone call at the clinic, and like somebody goes,
Viagra was technically a heart medicine. And it's not
and then, hey, by the way, and honestly, very similar uses, but somebody will call and ask for it for hair growth, and they're like, you won't sell it to me? I'm like, no, one, that's not how that works, and it doesn't work for that. And they go, how do you know? And I go, go to my website and look at my bio picture.
My back. You should tell them.
Right. Yeah. You're like, definitely did not work.
Don't bother.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is one of those things that people pay attention to. I can't imagine, like, have you seen the stem cells? They found out gray hair, which I do have a problem with. Seriously. They said it comes with the stem cell not being able to go from one side of the chamber to the other. It gets stuck, and once it gets stuck, it blocks. I said, okay, every time I tell that story, I'm like, oh, I read this fun article. They're like, why haven't you done it yet? And I'm like, because there's a new one of these things every other day. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I got
it's not just that. The gray hair gives you some distinguished.
I know, I love it.
Yeah. You paid for it. You know, you paid for it.
Yeah. I got my first gray hair when I was like 18.
Every one of these gray hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got my first gray hair when I was like 18 or something. My mom, I think, was fully gray by like 25. Like, I mean, she was like, yeah, I never had a problem with it, but I think it's funny too. Everyone, it's like the first thing they're like, oh, where do I get that? Like, and instantaneously people are like, yeah, now it's like, I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, there was a minute where young people, like 18, 20-year-old, were dyeing their hair gray. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't go outside much anymore. I try to avoid anyone under 40.
So let me ask you kind of an obvious question to me, but maybe not obvious to other people. Like you seem to have had a modicum of financial success prior to your sort of awakening, we'll call it, right? Like, you waking up to this definitely was, later in your financial journey. How much of this is like rich guys want to live forever? How much of it? No, I'm asking because I'm kind of
and then that definitely wasn't a swing there. We're like, what's the entry fee to the party? You know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Pareto principle, 80-20.
Yep.
Yep. I feel like we have this conversation a lot.
Yeah.
all of these gadgets and gizmos, which I love, in all seriousness, are my hobbies. Okay.
Sure.
It's my hobby. Okay. I shop at Costco. I buy a big bag of organic sweet potatoes. I buy a big bag of wild salmon at Costco and frozen vegetables. And boring is beautiful when it comes to eating, period. There's no fancy. Yes, do I drink some green smoothies and put some collagen in my shit? Do I whatever? But at the end of the day, I did an experiment. Okay. And you'll love this. I did an experiment on myself, classic Ari style, where I wanted to know how much junk could I eat and not fuck up my blood work? Okay.
Interesting.
There was a time for almost 3 years that I ate absolutely flawless by anybody's standards. No sugar, no gluten, no dairy. I mean, I'm talking either I was full on vegan in the right vegan, not carb loading, like whatever, or eating just, high quality organic chicken, wild salmon, low mercury salmon, and vegetables, like only, for years. And so I basically thought to myself, like, when can I have 3 beautiful kids? I like pizza. I like French fries. Like, I mean, who doesn't like pizza and French fries?
Sure.
So I wanted to know, what did that look like? So on average, if you ate 3 meals a day, which is up for discussion too, I think you should only eat 2. This whole eating 3 meals a day was actually a marketing scam. That's another discussion. And in the way that you actually let your body be deprived a little bit of food is actually how it heals itself. Another discussion. But let's say 3 meals a day. So over 7 days, 21 meals. Okay. I basically started to eat 1 meal of just straight up pizza out of 3, 4, 5, and then would test my blood. Okay. And I found, ironically enough, that out of 10 meals, if I ate 2 meals that were pure garbage, taste phenomenal, pure garbage, my blood work stayed identical. Identical. But if I ate 1 other meal of shit, it fell off a cliff. There was no middle ground. Cholesterol spike, inflammation spike, estrogen level spike, everything went to shit. So it literally landed almost identically around 80-20. So meaning, if you're eating 10 meals a week and you want to maintain your fun, your social circles, whatever that means, if you drink alcohol, if you eat pizza, whatever the fuck you do for enjoyment, because I separate fun and nutrition now. They're 2 different buckets.
That makes sense, though.
I don't eat a gluten-free pizza I eat fucking pizza when I eat pizza.
Yeah, go hard if you're going to go.
Yeah, I'm not having the organic sugar lemonade or whatever if I want lemonade. I drink actual lemonade with wonderful Mexican
white sugar.
White sugar.
Green extra processed sugar. As much processed as possible. My point in saying that is, so separating those buckets between fun and nutrition. And if you think about it, if you ate 10 meals, so that's basically over the course of 3 days, that means you can eat 2 meals of whatever the hell you want. Nobody needs to eat more than 2 shitty, bad for you meals in 3 days. Nobody. That is more than enough. That means every 3 days, 1 out of every 4 of your meals.
Right. You can let the freak flag
cheeseburger. That is absolutely fucking plenty to fulfill the sugar craving, the, hang out with the kids or have some booze or whatever the hell, you do to chill out. And that was a huge revelation for me, but separating them this is nutrition, this is work. So the 9 to 5 hours. I mean, I work 120 hours a week. It's who I am. My work is my worship.
Wow.
Another discussion. This is who I am, bro. Like, we're building communities, we're building houses, data centers, industrial facilities. Like, we're doing things that are shaping, the future of this world. And boy, does it light me up. I mean, this is who I am. It's not what I do.
Right.
But my point in saying that is to get yourself to the requisite 80-20 level of this nutrition or this health level, call it. There's a few things that I've kind of come together that are all extremely inexpensive if you are blessed enough to have your limbs, be in a place where there's a Costco or have Amazon. And by the way, there's a billion people that don't have fucking running water. So this is a privilege.
Right. This is a privilege,
Even having Costco is a privilege. Let's not get it twisted. There's 300 million women that can't go to school just because they're girls. So, and I have 2 girls and a son. So this is all a privilege. Let's be very fucking clear.
Yeah.
So with that said, I have kind of found, and the science backs this, that you need a high quality multivitamin. Okay. High quality multivitamin you can buy, and I don't endorse any of these. I don't get whatever, but Pure Encapsulations and Life Extension brands are good companies. They're good enough companies. I know some of the people that are there, they enough do what they say they're going to do. You can buy the Life Extension. You can buy the Life Extension multivitamin, the 2-a-day capsules, and I open them up and put them in like a juice for my kids. They even drink them it's $9 a month, basically. If you average out the 120 capsulations that are $30. So $9 a month. So don't give me that shit. Chick-fil-A for my youngest daughter was $13 fucking dollars for a kid's meal. Don't give me that shit.
I took 4 of us to Chick-fil-A on the way to the lake.
And you had to take a mortgage out on your house.
I was like, are you fucking joking me?
I'm not even breaking the 100 anymore.
By the way, going to get pizza, taking my kids to pizza is like $100 now. So don't give me this is too expensive. My Costco bag of wild salmon from Alaska of like 30 of them is like $23, by the way. So, but maybe it's not as fun as what all these fancy things you hear about on YouTube, whatever. But my point is the multivitamin, this human biological machine part of it needs these certain nutrients. You take that. Your gut needs a certain level of proper flora and fauna or positive bacteria. So you need a probiotic, of some sort. And again, there is plenty of them out there. BioK makes a decent one.
I make my own kombucha, so like that's free. Like literally.
Or fine. I happen to think most of kombucha is garbage because it's loaded with sugar. That's another discussion.
I love it.
And the broad spectrum, there's a limited flora in kombucha.
We can argue about nuances at another occasion. I'm talking about the basic, simple,
broad strokes.
Something you can do. No
the building blocks.
The building blocks, a probiotic, a high-rated probiotic. Again, BioK, like I said, makes a decent one. There's plenty. And a prebiotic. And the prebiotic is mission critical because of those that don't know, prebiotic is the food of a probiotic, which is basically like fiber. And most people's intestines are so fucked that the probiotic doesn't even make it into the intestines because of how much inflammation and blockage it is. So when you take a prebiotic with it and a multivitamin, that alone, with cutting out the shit of basically eating sweet potatoes, some sort of high quality protein, either a organic chicken or and I'm not going to argue about the nuances of what people want to do with their spiritual beliefs. But if you eat organic chicken or a wild caught salmon, that shouldn't piss off too many people, and some veggies of sort, just that just that piece, and getting some water with a basic filter with some Celtic salt, everything I just told you, you can have enough meals in a day, take enough vitamins in a day. I've done the math many times, for about $8, $7 for a day of food. Meaning that if you have a job in America, I represent a lot of firefighters and their pensions, a lot of teachers, a lot of, regular people like me. This is something that is affordable and achievable to get 80% plus of the benefits that I have from spending, yes, more money on all these things as gadgets and gizmos, and you will revolutionize your health. And you pair that with a form of meditation, whether with Dr. Joe Dispenza or transcendental meditation, and you start to take out the garbage of input from your ear, and you stop your doom scrolling and those things as well, you can absolutely cure, change just about any ailment out there with the $8 to $9 per day, period. And I've tested it a gazillion times on myself, and it fucking works. Do all the other things help? But here's the thing: hyperbarics. I did 200 hyperbaric chamber sessions last year in very close proximity in a hard chamber between 2.2 atmospheres to 3 atmospheres.
And that's pure oxygen then in the hard chamber.
The other ones don't work. I don't care what anybody says; they don't work. They don't work at the level of true angiogenesis, actual changes to suspect brain scans, to changing inflammation and things permanently, really helping the colon. You need a minimum of 40 sessions. The science is conclusive. You should read The Oxygen Revolution or any of Dr. Amen's work. 40 sessions in extremely close proximity, meaning almost every day.
Yeah, 6 to 7 days a week. Yeah.
If you don't do them that close, it doesn't work. Not at the level. And really, it's not even 40. The science is really 80 sessions. So 80 sessions in extremely close proximity has unbelievable benefits. But here's the nuance. It needs building blocks to regrow. So if you're not taking that multivitamin and you don't have some sort of good product or food in your body, even that 80 sessions is not going to have the exponential fix, because a building needs materials. So there has to be some kind of materials to help it change. But, look, all of these things do help. But in my experience, doing all these different gadgets and gizmos, Dave Asprey and I talk about this a lot. He lives here in Austin. He's a dear friend of mine. Is that if you don't have that 80-20 or that foundational piece that we discuss, all the gadgets and the gizmos in the world are not going to solve the fucking problem.
Right. So how do you, so first of all, I love the sort of sobriety of this sort of layout, right? It's like,
and he's saying something that we keep circling back to is that like the simple fixes, the long-standing things that we've known about, not necessarily sexy, but they get you most of the way there.
In investing in health, it's health for a guy that manages money for some of the biggest public pension plans in the world. Okay. In investing and in health, boring is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, boring in this is super boring. Salmon from Costco and potatoes are not sexy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I did recently read something that apparently the salmon from Costco is one of the freshest sources on the planet.
Kirkland Food Group, by the way, was one of the biggest food companies in the world now. For all things considered, is phenomenal. And I'll tell you one little piece here. I saw Jeff Bezos, speaking the other day, and they talked about Warren Buffett. And he basically said kind of cheekily, he's like, I was talking to Warren and I was like, I don't really get it. Your investment strategy isn't that complicated. Like, I don't know what I'm missing, but it doesn't seem that complicated. Like, why don't people more do it? And he's like, oh, Jeff, that's easy. I have a get rich slow scheme.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And so I have a get healthy, boring strategy, and nobody wants that. But the net is make everything as simpler, but no simpler. When it comes to investing in your health, which it is an investment, investing in businesses, growing your wealth from certainly into the billions, certainly is all about boring, repeatable, simple things. And people want fancy, they want elaborate, they want bells and whistles and TikTok followers or whatever. And that's fine if you want to be an influencer, but I want it to be rich and I want it to be healthy. Action. not look
Right,
rich, not look healthy. I wanted to actually be healthy and be ridiculously rich. And these are the strategies that time and time again have been used by the greatest minds in history. And I just read the books and did what they said. It wasn't that complicated.
Right. It's funny. There was like a CSI episode years ago I was watching early on in my sort of biohacking career. And there's this cut dude who's on the table dead. And they opened him up. They're like, this guy was like days away from dying of a liver problem, right? Like he was all fucked up. He was taking all these things in his body, but on the outside, he looked great, right? He's chiseled from stone. The guy looks great. And I remember that episode only because I'm like, that I don't want that to ever be me. I don't want to look great on the outside, but in the inside be literally falling apart. In fact, I'm better with the other way. I don't care if I look like shit as long as I'm actually like put together the right way.
The irony,
right?
Of that
The inside will reflect out to the outside. Yeah.
So what I always think about is what you do in private, you wear in public. So you don't got to tell me you're healthy. Nobody needs to come try to tell me they're doing whatever. I can look at you.
Right. And say like,
yes. And hear your words, hear the energy you're putting off. Is it negative? Is it toxic? Is it judgy? Or is it heartfelt? Is it empathetic? Is it kind? You know, does your skin have that glow tinge? Is there a whiteness in your pupils? Like, you don't need to tell me you're fucking healthy. Your energy introduces you before you say a fucking word.
Yeah. True. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because now I'm almost 50 and you start to see it now. You look around.
Yeah, I feel like you're starting to really see the cracks in the armor. Yeah.
No, I heard what you said differently. I see it in my peers. So now hanging out with our buddies.
Oh no, that's what I meant. Like my peers.
Yeah, like you're what happened to you and not me, and vice versa.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's funny because it's not been clear. Yeah, it's not been clear. We've been able to be. Youth is a great eraser of a lot of these things, right? You're like, oh, great, but as you get a little older, that's not so much true anymore, right? You're like, oh, that guy's looking a little bit.
It's also everything is everything. In my limited experience in this life, is like compound interest. I'll give you an example. And health, and I treat this as an investment. Literally, I manage my blood work like I've managed financial statements with rigor. I'm asking why, I'm asking what, I'm asking how, I'm testing, I'm stress testing, you know, and so in that's my philosophy, and I think it's worked for me okay. But really, when you think about this, there's a certain amount of time that it takes for wealth and time to actually do its job. What do I mean by that? If you look at a 7% compound rate of return from just a simple index fund in the stock market, and you put $1,000 aside, after 1 year, not interesting. 2 years, not interesting. 5 years, not interesting. 7 years, sort of. 30 years of 7% compounded is a ridiculous return. My point is, health investing is the same thing. If you go to the gym 2 times, you're not ripped.
Yeah.
You go to the gym 100 times over at close proximity again, you have a different body. You eat salmon and sweet potatoes and avocado only. No extra seasoning, bullshit, just simple, maybe a little Celtic salt, maybe a little black pepper. You eat that meal only for 3 months, you have a different body. And so there's a certain amount of time that time is the great divider, is the great teller of all things in wisdom, in health, in relationships, and damn sure in investing is when you see where boring, beautiful, steady is what actually ends up making the biggest returns in the world. Again, maybe not sexy, but those that actually want results.
Sure.
What real results? These are tried and true principles. Back to the Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, take a multivitamin, stop eating sugar, you know, move your body, whatever modality. Maybe you don't want to do Bowflex or you prefer yoga over Pilates, or I don't fucking know, but just move your body.
Move it. Yeah, exactly.
Sweat. You know, have great sex. Do anything. Move your body.
Right. It's funny. A buddy of mine literally this week came to me. He's on a gym discovery, right? You know, he's almost 50. He's like kind of like loving it. I love it for him. He's so perfectly adorable to watch, because it's like you're watching him discover all these things. He comes to me the other day, goes, man, did you know that like you just got to lift heavy things? And I'm like, you know, and I'm laughing, but I'm also like really happy for him, because like to him, that was like earth shattering information. Like that was like an aha moment of
you gotta find it.
You know,
one of the things that I don't think is talked about nearly enough from my perspective, I talk about it in my book a little bit. My book is called The Gift of Failure. And the first line of the book is, I hope you fail. I hope you fail a lot. And really, I think that's the only way we can actually learn. Certainly for me, the only way I learned. Being successful or seemingly successful didn't teach me anything, maybe just to be a prick. But failing was the great humbler, and that, you know, that taught a lot of things. But one of the greatest discoveries in my health, wellness, human journey, okay, and I say that with the level of profundity with the intro, is learning about postural alignment. Okay. There is a gentleman named Pete Egoscue, one of the greatest kinesiologies, and quite literally a national treasure. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Buy one of his books, pain-free. Go see an Egoscue teacher in any of the major cities. I learned it from Tony Robbins, Brian Bradley, who helped build that organization. He has his own thing now called Posture X. Look up Egoscue, look up Brian Bradley, because the way that they look at the human body, you take it like a car. If you have you're drag racing a car, everyone knows you need pit stops. You have to align the tire, the suspension, whatever. But if you take this human mechanism and you take a picture of it this way, one shoulder is like this, the neck is like this, the hips are like this, which is normal. There's idiosyncrasies in every body. There are a few major conditions where the shoulders are forward, the ass is tucked under, one shoulder limps to the side. Like there is some familiarity in all basic human conditions, and then there's nuances. What Egoscue does is creates custom movements that tell muscles that are overworking to chill out, muscles that are underworking to work a little bit harder, and realign the symmetry of the body, which realigns the organs of the body, realigns the brain. There's all these implications for cerebral spinal fluid, and all these other issues that come into it. But a postural alignment practice daily, for me, has been one of the greatest discoveries of all of these, because it's like, I think of like the intestines like a hose. Okay, that's great. It's a hose. Well, and I eat and I have the best stuff that's coming in, right? You know, best food, best vitamins. But if I smush that hose and you smush it, nothing's coming out and you're fucked. So putting the body in a place where the organs are in the right place, the shoulders are in the right place, you're not, the hips are not, overly imbalanced, where you're putting too much stress on that knee, then you start lifting heavy weights, because bones do what muscles tell them. So once you put them in the right place, you see people going to the gym, they start to lift heavy things and they're like this, doing bench press, you're just going to blow your shoulder out. So getting the alignment of the joints and the bones and the muscles in the right place, then putting heavy weight, that's when magic starts happening.
And see, I love this too, because then I was actually preloaded a question that I was going to ask you, which is basically, how do you sort of rank stack sort of your fine tune mechanisms, right? Like, okay, great.
Posture's at the top of the list. Posture is not a fine tuning. Meditation, posture management, and eating and vitamins are the whole hierarchy. Meditation and posture alignment are so high up on the list for me that you can't even see the other ones.
Interesting.
Ari, I feel like you came on just to say the shit we say every week when we
yeah. Ari's like, I'm going to just summarize
I got nothing to add. Yeah, he's right.
Well, look, I guess this is why we got along. I guess when the team, when we started reaching out and the team started talking, one of the people on my team was like, Ari, you're gonna love them.
Yeah,
it's usually a little bit more pessimistic. Like, I don't know, we get thousands of requests to be on this and that. It's like, oh, you're gonna love these. You're gonna love these guys. It's like, okay,
yeah, well, that's awesome. I think that's great.
The number of times I put like somebody's like, what's the best thing I can do right now? No money, meditation.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like
100%.
boom. Yeah. Like right
you don't
now.
need the Himalayas.
Yeah.
You don't need the
Yeah.
Himalayas. Close your fucking eyes.
You
Close
don't
your
need the
eyes.
Himalayas. Yeah. That's
Observe
hilarious.
the space around your head. And by the way, and I will tell you, for me, you know, meditation, as I said, I cannot speak higher enough of it. Ray Dalio is the one that told me, one of the greatest investors in history, the one that told me to meditate first, personally. But I last year attended, I want to say 5 or 6, I don't even remember anymore, 7-day meditation retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. That could easily have been the best thing I've ever done. Ever. In terms of being in a room, and same if you have not attended a Tony Robbins seminar, there is power in immersion. If you want to learn a language and you take, how many people took Spanish in high school and only know hola?
Yeah. All of them.
I mean, everybody, or I took French and whatever, and you don't know shit. You don't even know bonjour. But my point is, but if you go to France for 3 months, you're going to learn French. I mean, you want to talk to the girls, obviously, but, you know, and that's a big motivator too. Desperation of, you know, trying to bond.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Good callback, man. Good callback.
Yeah.
But the immersion is what does it. And so being in that room of 2,000 people with Dr. Joe, learning the science of mysticism, learning what happens physically to the heart when you start to be in that state of coherence, what physically happens to the brain, and being around 2,000 people like that was one of the most electrifying experiences, so much that I just kept going back because it was so infectious to be able to start really, really like creating the life. Same thing with Tony. Like, Tony is a national treasure. And if you haven't, I know everyone knows his name. He might be the most famous person on the earth, but going to a seminar, going with 10, 15,000 people in the room, jumping up and laughing and talking and experiencing and sharing and excavating your soul and putting it on a piece of paper and auditing your own thoughts and creating those goals. Like, I think there is nothing on the earth that can replace it. And then once you're there, then you can go home and don't need to go to them and close your fucking eyes, put on one of those 15-minute things, observe the space around you or whatever the hell you do, read your goals in the morning, do your stuff. But if you want to jumpstart your life, and I were to say, look, again, these are some luxuries. I mean, the Dr. Joe seminars aren't crazy. It's, you know, I think $2,000 for 7 days. So yes, it's money. But if you have a decent job and a little bit of discipline, say fucking $2,000 and go, and don't waste that $2,000 on fucking water bottles or whatever you're doing over 6 months.
Yeah, right.
Invest it in it to do something for yourself that's really going to change. And, you know, that immersion into it has so much power. I tested my own brain, my own heart, you know, with, I wore the aura rings. I did saliva tests. I saw in me the changes. I felt the changes in me. My children saw the changes in me. And not to mention the business grew exponentially as well, just FYI.
And I think those are the things that people don't
that
put
change
enough.
of mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, look, take it down from Tony and Joe. Like, I mean, just your local YMCA yoga class, right? And this is an example I pulled from my own life, right? Before COVID, I was doing 3 days a week in yoga. It's literally at the local Y. I love the teacher. I love the vibe, but there's like 40 people in that class. COVID comes, can't go to the Y anymore. So everyone's going online yoga. That lasted about a minute and a half for me because that whole energy is not there in a Zoom.
There is a group
class.
Experience that
you know, like, yes, I've been to Tony Robbins type thing. Yeah. And those things are great. You're absolutely right. 100%. But I'm saying, even at the lower microscopic local YMCA level, there's a palpable difference.
You're so right. And the reason you're so right is now we have fucking science to prove why it's right.
Sure.
Where they have what Joe has done, again, at a higher level. And what Joe is teaching is not new. They've been talking about chakras and energy centers for 10,000 fucking years. Like, so this is not his, he packaged it very well, and God bless him for doing it. But none of this is new in the sense of we are tribal beings. Being around people and community. And we know now there is an energy field for some people that's almost 3 meters off of their body.
Yeah.
That we
just talked about this on a show the other day.
This is not a pseudoscience. This is, and by the way, an MRI, how do they figure out what's going on in your brain when they're not touching you? Clearly something is coming off of your brain that they're able to measure. This is not new. This is not pseudoscience. So to your point, a meeting with a person, although on Zoom, this is a great luxury that we can talk. But if us bros were sitting around a table together,
it'd be
we'd
different.
be high-fiving, talking. The vibe would be even more electric. Same thing of talking to just having a business meeting or a podcast or a YMCA. Being with people, there is an energy exchange, sometimes bad, sometimes great. But, we can't, it is what it is, but it is palatable. It is real. It is a microcosm of just two people, or as you said, the YMCA, or in a grandiose, exaggerated sense, a big Tony Robbins seminar. It is powerful and it is real. And we are tribal beings. We need community. This 2 million-year-old reptilian brain, is meant to make us survive. And the only way that I think we can learn to thrive is when we are in community. It's why I do what I do as a real estate developer. It's not about bricks and mortar. It's about the families that populate these houses. It's about houses coming into homes and watching what happens when humans interact together in groups and communities, although small or large.
Yeah, and I think that's a lesson that we can't really underscore enough, right? Like that. I mean, that big Blue Zone thing they did years ago. They're like, guess what? Above,
smoking, these guys
drinking,
drink, these guys smoke, these guys eat, rotten fish, and
it's fucking community. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you have a strong sense of community, you'll live as long as this guy. And by the way, you're
sense of purpose and community. Yeah,
that's
all
right.
of them say it, man.
And purpose is about contribution to me. Purpose is, and you gotta, and so much of this health and wellness stuff can appear very egocentric on its face. But there's a reason when an airplane is crashing that they say put the oxygen mask on your face before you help the person next to you. That is an act of community and an act of service, and also a good strategy. Because if you're out there screaming your ass off and you pass out, you can't help the kid next to you, period. So to me, this journey of filling our own cups, of making ourselves the best we can, is so that we can give, is so that we can bring our businesses, our ideas, our podcasts, whatever the hell it is, to share it. Because if you're not sharing it, you feel like shit.
Right. And how much good are you sitting in a fucking wheelchair at 60 because you're fucking inflamed to the Jesus?
How much good are you shredded like Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting at your house by yourself?
Right. Yeah. Also zero. Right. Yeah. It's the opposite end of that spectrum. Yeah, for sure.
Giving is receiving, like giving, and and people say, oh, money can't make you happy. All the people that say that have not given enough of it away.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So that's great. Listen, Ari, I could talk to you about this all day. I know we're got a little bit of a time situation, so I don't want to.
Thank you for coming on, man. You were such high energy, and you kind of just really, I think, encapsulated kind of what I think Matt and I started this show for. Like how do we build our own community? How do we give back? How do we experience health at a level where we can share that with others?
Well, I think you guys are doing it. I'm honored that y'all had me on. And if you ever make it down to Austin, let's definitely
we got 20 ways from Sunday to one of the experiments that I did was with probably your neighbors, happy, healthy, thin guys. They're out of Austin. Really fucking great guys.
We'll share over all the stuff, like email us, tell us any fun gadgets or gizmos you're dealing with. Like,
absolutely.
This is, like I said, I don't play golf. I do hyperbaric chambers, if you know what I mean.
I got you.
I don't
know. Ari, let's do the commercial
before
buddy.
You peace out. Drop some websites. How do people connect with you? What do you want to go?
Totally.
Where do you want them to go?
Look, if you want to learn about our investment business, we help hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accredited investors through real estate investing. You can find us at rastegarcapital.com. You can Google my name and find us on LinkedIn, at Rastegar on Instagram.
Cool.
You can find us pretty quickly if you want to. We have a great team that's out there putting out stuff that we think is valuable. We hope that it helps people. My book, The Gift of Failure, is available on Amazon. You can listen to it on Spotify, and it's basically pretty much everything I could write into one book that I fucked up that I could say publicly with young kids. When my kids grow up, I'll write the other book.
Write the other book. Yeah, the companion piece.
Have another one.
The Other Failures by Ari Rastegar.
Here's the really bad stuff.
The really bad stuff. My youngest is 6 years old, so I have another 12
So you got a
years
couple minutes.
Keep some innocence there.
Yeah.
Keep some innocence there.
So,
That was like, it's funny that you said that. One of the problems with the show, I was like, told my kids, because I got a 17 and 14, I'm like, maybe you don't listen to that episode. I'm not sure if Dad's ready to like share that with you just quite yet, you know?
And so the book covers health, wealth, happiness, and basically tracks all the things I fucked up along the way. Businesses, health, life.
It sounds like a fun read, man.
Thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, hopefully. And if you don't like the book, I curated a list of recommended reading at the end of it that are fantastic. The Think and Grow Riches of the World, the Atomic Habits, or, just whatever. A list of phenomenal books that even if my book doesn't change your life, if you read the books at the end of it, those will guaranteed change your life. As they have for me. There's an email address at the end of it that I've read thousands of emails from all over the world that literally just floor me. I've literally sat and just sobbed my eyes out for hours and hours reading some of the messages that people have sent us after reading it. And it's been one of the most fulfilling, gratifying things ever of my entire life, knowing that maybe just one, iota that some experience I shared has helped another person. And I'll tell you, those things become very infectious and become very, addictive in the best way possible. But guys, thanks for having me.
Ari, thanks
awesome,
again,
man.
buddy.
Thank you so much,
Enjoy the
Ari.
weekend,
You were
guys.
great.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye. What is that?
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.